Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Ato. So the way that we're going to present will be a bit different, so just be patient with us.
And I'm Kristy, and we are both PhD students at UCT, actually working on CRISPR and bacteria. But today we're going to be talking to you about how we try to bring discovery science to life at woza.
So first we'll take you through what woza is and what is it that we do at the organization.
So woza was incubated at UCT, and we still maintain really close connections with the Institute of Infectious Diseases. This allows us to root our science communication in a basic research environment.
So we are an NGO. We are a science communication NGO that focuses on public engagement, youth advocacy, science communication, skills development. So basically, we act at the intersection of biomedicine and social impact.
So one of woza's philosophies is that we consider our participants to be active members, and we do this by not only communicating accurate information, but also trying to facilitate conversation and igniting storytelling.
So our long-term goals include encouraging positive seeking behavior within our participants and trusting gender, as well as decreasing stigma on diseases that we cover within communities.
As you can see from this slide, we are representing the woza core team, and we are an incredibly diverse team. We are not only scientists, we also have musicians, we also have artists, and we think that this diversity really lends us a lot of power.
So before we go ahead, we wanted to thank our funders that made all of this possible.
We really recently moved to new offices that are bigger and allowed us to scale our projects further.
Oh, it's stuck. So the location of the new offices allow us to be at the center of the communities that we serve. So this is in Makaza in Khayelitsha, where we recruit our participants from.
So woza has 6 distinct projects, and today we'll only be talking to you about our Learners Docu program. In this program, learners attend a documentary filmmaking workshop in which they actually create their own documentaries. And as part of this program, they also attend a series of science workshops, which we're going to talk to you a little bit more about. So, yeah.
That's you.
I did that one.
So the first part of our workshops includes recruitment. So our programs are divided into 4 cycles, where in each cycle we recruit about 12 learners from high schools. So we do our recruitment within the Inkava Youth Tutoring Program that is situated in Makaza in Khayelitsha. As part of the recruitment, we show the learners docu films from the previous cohort, which encourages these learners to come up with their own research topics, or film topics that they can cover, and then encourages them to apply into the program. So, like Kristy presented in the previous slide, so we are part of a bigger part of the workshops. So we only cover the science workshop, which works in parallel with the DOCIS program. So these are done at UCT, at the Institute of Infectious Diseases, which is crucial because this gives the learners an opportunity to come into UCT and find themselves in a basic science related environment.
So our workshops are all facilitated by PhD and postdoc students from the Institute. And we hope that, as Prof. Knox's presentation suggested, this will give a relatable face to the people doing research.
So one of the things that's important to us is the content that we cover with these learners during the workshop. So we try our best to make sure that the content that we cover covers basic science. So we are TB scientists, so that's all of what we know. So our topics include TB basics, where we cover the biology of TB, where we try to talk about the risk and where we try to get the learners to understand and differentiate between the risk and the causes of TB and TB transmission and clinicals and stuff like that.
So one of our core workshops is also called What is Research, where we cover the research method. So we discuss the concept of a hypothesis by asking learners to come up with a hypothesis of where they think they will find the most bacteria and where they think they will find the highest diversity of bacteria. They sample their chosen surfaces and they grow these up on agar plates, allowing them to see the bacteria that they're finding in the environment.
So following that, the next part that they get to do is to record their results. So as part of the experiment, they record their hypothesis, and then at the end of the experiment or at the end of the day, they record their results. And then we encourage them to go and compare their hypothesis, and we encourage them to go and compare their hypothesis and then come and discuss their results the following week, and then talk about the differences that they see between what they hypothesized and what they are seeing on the plates.
Learners also look at their results under a microscope, allowing them to actually use high-tech scientific equipment to interpret their own results.
So like I said, we are TB Basic. So one of the first presentations that we ever did within this organization was TB Basic, where we tried to talk about TB from a biomedical perspective. So we came up with this guy, which basically is Mycobacterium, but the kids understand it as myco.
So in our TB transmission and our drug discovery workshops, we make sure that we also emphasize the research behind these concepts in that they're familiar with from the biomedical perspective. So after they've attended the science workshops, learners go to the core of our Learner Dockies programs, where they actually attend these media workshops. They're taught how to use family equipment, they set up their own interviews, they edit their own documentaries, and these are then made available online.
So now that we've taken you through what we do at the organization, we want to talk about the practical insights and all the learnings that we've got from the workshops over the years that we've run the programs.
So our first one about communicating effectively is to have really good visuals. A woza employs a professional animator, and he works in partnership with the scientists at a woza to make sure that our animations are both fun and engaging, but also scientifically accurate and clear.
So the other thing that's very important to us is language. So the learners that we recruit come from Kaelija. So their mother language is isiXhosa. So what we try to do is that we try to get facilitators that will translate the presentations that we'll give into learners in a language that is simple, and where possible even translate it to them into isiXhosa. So the slide that we have here is an example of where we try to translate technical terms into the languages that they understand.
So in the background of the next slide, you see Alfa. Alfa used to be a participant and now is a full-time employee of a woza who facilitates the entire Learner Dockies program. By having someone who comes from the community, the same communities that our participants come from, it means we can contain contextual relevance and build trust.
So familiarity is another important factor that we consider. So as the first thing that we do with the learners when they get to UCT is to give them the tour of the institution. So this helps them to create a sense of what a tertiary institution is, and to tell them that it is accessible to everyone and open to young people. So this makes it easy for them to actually interact with us and take part into the program.
So we try to keep our ratio of facilitators to learners really low so that learners can have a one-on-one interactions with their facilitators. We also ask facilitators to attend a series of workshops so that our participants can build a relationship with them and thereby sort of generate trust. So we realize that we're working in a really intimidating environment, and we try to communicate really complex topics. A tool that's really helped us to do both of these successfully is Mentimeter.
So a Mentimeter is a short online quiz so we do 2 or 3 of these per session. So we do one before each session and one in between, and then one at the end to try and understand if the learners understood what we just taught them. And it's completed on a phone, so it kind of gamified the process. So it's anonymous, so it kind of encourages the learners to actually participate and be confident within their answers.
One of the other major benefits of Mentimeter is that the answers appear in real time. So that means if there's anything unclear or if there are any questions arising, we can address them immediately.
So the next thing that we wanted to know was to know if our programs were working or not. So we wanted to measure if what we are communicating is being, what's the word I'm looking for? If the learners were retaining the knowledge that we were teaching them. So what I have here is an example of a question that we ask as part of the Mentimeter. So in this slide, we ask the learners what causes TB. It's one of the first questions that we ask before we even give the first lecture. So here we ask learners what causes TB, and on the left is what the learners thought was what causes TB based on the knowledge that they have from communities, and on the right is what they answered after we have actually talked to them. And you can actually see a huge difference on the learners that were actually able to distinguish between risk factors and the actual cause of TB, which is actually the bacteria.
So from our What is Research workshop, you can see a question that before the workshop, most people don't know what a hypothesis is, whereas after the workshop, the concepts become a bit more clear.
So in conclusion, so for us, this is important because the benefits in all this is bidirectional. As a scientist, we get to understand TB from the real world perspective, and the learners get to improve their communication skills while being given a platform where they tell stories and they share their experiences of TB and get to engage with active research, if I can put it that way.
So unfortunately, we didn't have time to show you one of our learner docies. However, here are our social media handles. So if you would like to go and watch them, we feel that they give a really good insight into what our program is about, and they're really fantastic. And with that, all that leaves us to say is thank you very much for your attention.